we wake up Monday morning, and I was like too tired to drive after the FKT. So I was with Bobby, and then like, dude, as like a race director, I could never imagine this, but he's like taking people to the airport just the day after the FKT and off of like no sleep, and then he loses his phone, I guess, while doing all of this. So like, I'm like, dude, yeah, but
dang.
And I went to like, there's a place called Granny's, and I went there with like complete strangers because I feel like I was like a baby just getting handed off to the babysitters, like, here's Chase, go take care of him, guys. And they brought me out to breakfast, and I had a 6-egg omelet with pancakes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes, dude. Dude, I was watching that live of when you finished, and you just kind of like obviously out of it and just hammering those fucking slices of pizza that were like the size of your head
into a sandwich that I loved it.
Just whoop. Yeah. Oh, it was. That was perfect.
Yeah, that the only thing that would have made it cooler was I was getting texts throughout, like, I could see on my Garmin they would pop up, and my dad texted me, there's a party waiting for you at the finish. And I'm like, no! Honestly, I was hoping for, like, my dream scenario was, like, just some spotlights on Bobby and him just, like, playing some random song on, like, I was thinking electric guitar, but I'm like, he'd probably get in trouble if it's just some, like, acoustic guitar, and then I, like, roll in, and then somehow it goes from, like, that to champagne being sprayed. But so we got the champagne being sprayed, and I think I got drunk from chugging that. So
yeah, you did take a big pull. I saw it. I was like, damn, Chase, all right.
I wanted to chug it so badly, but it was just too much, and I'm like, nope. Most painful part of the whole day was Bobby spraying me in the eyes with the champagne.
Yeah, he got you really in that suit too. It was super good shot on the spray. All right, well, with that, welcome back to the Angry Guppy podcast world. We've taken quite a bit of a break, but we thought
what was our last episode? The live?
November, the live episode talking about our FKT attempt.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, we figured we would get in the swing of things back and talk with Chase, who just took the FKT of Mega Midsouth. Chase, bravo, by the way.
Yeah, dude, congrats. Like, not just beating it, but like dismantling it forever.
Yes. But yeah, Chase took it Ted King took it from Nick, and then 20 minutes later, Chase took it from Ted King.
Yeah. So we took the record from 22 hours and 38 minutes to Chase. What did Ted finish in?
17 hours and 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Chase took it in 16 hours and 58 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is
destroyed.
Insane.
I was going to be happy if I went under 18 hours, and then,
dude,
like,
when you were texting me, I was like, I think both of you guys can do it sub 18.
Yeah.
And then you just fucking destroyed it.
Dude, it was the conditions. I mean, perfect weather. I mean, I don't know if the gravel can get more perfect. Maybe it can, because there was some, like, it seemed like they laid some stuff down in the spring, but it wasn't too bad. And I ran Conti Race King, so it's not like smooth gravel or rough gravel makes a huge difference with those things.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't be in the aero bars in some sections, and then, like, man, the wind all day, like, I think I said this in a post, but I feel like I either had a tailwind or no wind, probably like 90% of that ride. Just
that,
like,
and being as arrow as possible too. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's
did. Ted King is like a just bigger human than me, but I did 60 less watts than him average.
Yeah, I saw that on your Strava and compared to you both, and I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And I mean, I don't remember what my power output was for, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I kind of want to like just compare both of our attempts with yours, and like obviously you said the conditions were great. Did you have any like standing water sections anywhere or no?
Nothing.
Dude, that's so awesome.
There was like 10 feet of like wet gravel, but it wasn't. I mean, like I did get a little mud spray, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
bike through it and the bike clogs up type of mud. It was like just kind of spray with a mist.
That's rad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really
Did
nice.
you have any issues with trains, like Ted did?
No, that was Drew Dillman, my teammate. He was driving the trains. No, someone left a comment on one of the posts. They're like, "Oh, was Drew driving some trains today?" And I thought that was so funny.
Dude, that's
zero
funny.
trains. The only
awesome.
thing that that I had to like slow down for was church service just got let out in like this really small town where there's like a stop sign just when church service is up and someone like directing people walking across. So there was like some older folks, like, you know, little grandma taking her time, and in my head I'm like, no, like I need to go fast. But in like the grand scheme of things, and at one of the gas stations the guy was like on his phone like for a couple minutes, but maybe it was probably only 30 seconds, but it felt like forever. I'm like, dude, get off your phone. And like I wish I would have just brought cash, because I would have just like left the 20 and gone. But I mean, it sounded like Ted had two trains stop him, and then he was also, I think like if he would have still had no trains, I would have beat him. And then it looked like his gas station stops were pretty slow, but mine were like, I don't know what you guys do for gas station stops, but just from like being money conscious, I always had to the fountain drinks instead of going to buy bottles of whatever, because it's cheaper to fill your bottles than go buy. Like if I want a Coke, I can go buy a 44-ounce Coke out of the fountain drink. I'll split that with my friends even sometimes, and it's like $1.50 compared to if you go buy a 20-ounce bottle of Coke, it's like $3. Which when you're like, I don't know, I've been that was my trick I've been doing for the past probably 5 years. If there's a McDonald's, it's even better, because they used to have like dollar fountain drinks, and they would have Powerade. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a great idea. I mean, I feel like when we did our stops, I only had one gas station where I had that option. Or I guess I did stop in Perry, but I got a Subway sandwich, so I was pretty cooked when I hit Perry.
Did you stop before Guthrie or after Guthrie?
I stopped in
Like at the edge of town on the other side?
yeah, on the other town.
The Phillips 66?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's where I stopped too.
I like put notes in my phone, and I didn't see there was anything in Guthrie. Honestly, if I like really wanted to push it, it was so cold that I had enough fuel to go 8 or 9 hours. So I probably could have made it to whatever was at stop 166, which I think was
It's Perry.
Yeah, Perry.
Yep.
But I stopped in Guthrie.
Yeah, how beautiful is Guthrie? I heard you talking to Bobby about that before we started this. That was such a that road going up to the government building, I believe it is. I don't remember.
Oh,
what
straight
it is,
through
but,
downtown.
Yeah, just so beautiful. Jared, who works at the shop, he got a beautiful shot of me going towards that. It was just kind of a cool little town, or I guess like big town compared to a lot of other places on the route. But yeah,
that was one of the more memorable sections for me, because before Guthrie, around like probably mile 70 or 80. That's when so people who don't know, there was fires in the Stillwater area. That's why Midsouth didn't happen. We'll catch back up to that. But
For sure.
I was biking through burned forest, I saw several houses that were no longer there, and that was really moving, and also kind of just set it solidified my meaning of the ride. Okay, this is more than just me going after the fastest time for this route. It's me trying to raise awareness for the fires and raise funds for those affected. Also at that time, shortly after that, there was a guy who saw that Ted and I were out doing it, so he came and started biking with me, just
nice.
next to me, and then he was filming around a corner, and then he crashed, and I was
no.
I'm going after this record, but I'm also a human, and I'm so I slowed down pretty much to a stop, and I'm dude, are you okay? Do you need anything? And it was kind of just embarrassed, dude, I'm good,
yeah.
Go. And I felt bad because I don't know much about FKT stuff, but I was having someone just biking by the side of me for even 5 miles would have been cool. But yeah, so then I was thinking the whole time, I'm I hope that dude was actually good and his bike worked and everything, because yeah. But
yeah, that's crazy.
Wild. Yeah.
Well, I guess we should just maybe start with, where we were at on Friday evening. Especially, well, Nick was not down there, but I was down there. Chase was down there. A couple other people from the shop were down there. Elena, who had done the 50K, I was down there at the basically start finish to kind of get some pictures and see them finish. But things got really kind of spooky, especially with the winds. Just the winds itself, I was like, holy crap. I had not seen winds that windy or gusty before. I don't know about you, Chase, but that was very, very windy.
Yeah, that was
the expo itself was just
getting blown apart.
Yeah. Tents, the roof's just getting blown off, and I was standing on the south side of the finish line, and there was a Girl Scout cookies tent across the finish line, and the Girl Scout cookies roof went flying off, and then all of a sudden the cookies went the boxes went flying everywhere. So I was oh my god, I feel so bad for these guys. They're just trying to be out here selling cookies,
I didn't see that. Yeah. I saw Silka stuff kind of just getting blown everywhere, and I'm man, there's I was helping Richard pick some stuff up, and I'm yeah, he definitely wouldn't have picked that up if I didn't come back and bring it. So I cannot imagine just how much stuff got people. I mean, it's the cycling community, so I bet if someone found someone's whatever, they're sending emails to get everything back. But I was by the Good Life booth because I was doing I was supposed to do autograph signings, which I'm not one to do that, but they said they saw some a table go up in the air and then come back down and hit someone in the head.
Oh Jesus.
And yeah, so
yeah, it was bad.
As somebody that wasn't there, I mean, I saw a lot on social media. I saw a lot from my friends that were there. It looked like a large part of Friday was okay, and then all of a sudden it just took a turn for the worse. Is that it's how long from nice to all of a sudden shit is just hitting the fan? There's wind, there's fires, there's everything.
Yeah. So
what was that time gap?
Yeah, Elena started their race at 8, and I would say around 11 o'clock, noon is where things got the wind started picking up, but it was 1 or 2 o'clock where it got really, really, really gusty.
You could start smelling smoke at 1:30, and I feel like everyone's kind of been around something that's burning, and you're like, oh yeah, like there's a fire, that is not good. But then like you just keep smelling it, and then for me, I went to Chipotle like probably 2:15, and you couldn't tell if it, because we're in Oklahoma, so it's like if it's really windy. I've been in Oklahoma like pretty much in a tornado. I didn't like I was 10 minutes tornado 10 minutes behind me, but it can get like essentially just brown everywhere if the dust really kicks up, and I thought that's what was happening, and then I thought there was just like one small isolated fire probably kind of nearby the probably just a building on fire, which like is still really bad. Then I go to Chipotle 2:15, 2:30, and I start getting calls from people like, hey, are you getting evacuated? Like, we just got evacuated. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, are you getting kicked out of the Airbnb? Like, and they're like, no, there's fires. Like, we have to, like, we're getting kicked out or evacuated. And my Airbnb was like quarter of a mile away from theirs, on the west side of town, which is where all of the fires were at. And then it was like another phone call comes in, and then I get a text message saying like, no way this event happens. And this is at like 2:30, and then we went to our Airbnb just to like, for me it was still normal, or like I didn't know what was happening at that point. And then I was with the Good Life, and they have an RV, so I like climbed up onto the RV, onto the roof, and I just see this like, I mean, I could kind of see it while driving that direction, but then you like really see these like clouds of smoke. And then one of the guys was like, oh, like it should be fine. And like just I felt like a huge gust of wind hit me like as I'm looking straight towards where the smoke was coming from, and I'm like, I don't care what, I didn't say this, but in my head I'm like, I don't care what he thinks. I'm scared, so I'm gonna pack up, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. So like, but then like a minute later, everyone was like, okay, we gotta pack up. And then it went from like walking, so this is probably 3:30. It turned from like walking, packing stuff to like Sophia from Gravel Worlds. She like got an ember burn on her body, and we're like, oh, it's like getting close. So we're like walking, then speed walking, then we're like essentially just running, and then it's like, screw this, like we left behind the RV, and we're like, if it burns, it burns, we need to go, because we didn't know how, like everything was so windy, and like the grass in our neighborhood was dead. The people setting their sprinklers out to save their house, that was definitely the first time they put those sprinklers out in the yard the first time. But yeah, and then like for me, then we went to Stone Cloud Brewery. So I don't know what your experience was like, Josh, between like noon to 4.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched Elena finish their race, and I took some pictures, and then I was like, all right, I need to get the heck out of here. I need to go back to the Airbnb just to get out of the wind, because I was just getting dust and just a bunch of debris just getting in my eyes. And then I got back to the Airbnb. Actually, riding back to the Airbnb was insane. I had this massive tailwind, but then I had a crosswind section where it was actually like sketchy, and I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna make it. I'm going to walk. But we made it back. I was with another Minneapolis dude, and we kind of just like hung out at the Airbnb for a little bit, and then we saw, well, before I left, actually, like the smoke was starting to come like into downtown Stillwater. You're like, holy shit! Like, for me at that point, I still had no idea what was going on. I'm just like, oh, it's just because they didn't talk about fires or anything like that. They had mentioned there was a fire around in the area, but like majority of the whole time, I don't think any of us really had any idea how bad it was until it was like, oh shit, the sky is full of smoke. But anyways, we got back to the Airbnb. We're chilling there for a little bit. Things are starting to get like, darker, and you can smell the fires. One of the neighbors of the Airbnb came over and was like, "Hey, you guys are from Minnesota. I saw your plates. We're leaving this house because people are evacuating Stillwater because there's a fire." And we're all like, "Wait, what?" And like we're all kind of like shocked, like, what the heck? We were not very close to. We were the northwest side of town near the airport, and we were pretty safe, so we weren't like worried about that unless. But I remember just kind of chilling at the Airbnb and like trying to search where the fires were, but we couldn't with the storm and stuff. You can search and you can go on the weather app and see where the storm is coming, but like with the fires, we didn't know where they were. And then we all just kind of hung out at the Airbnb until the announcement came about what they were planning to do with the race on Saturday.
The first announcement?
Yep. But yeah, it's just like we'd go outside and it would just get worse and worse. It'd smell. I actually went outside to take a few pictures because I'd never experienced something like that before as well. Like I just kind of wanted to, have some documentary of it. But it was a bit, it was definitely scary. And I'm thankful I didn't have like a scenario where Chase or anybody that was on, like in the fire zone to like, oh shit, we have to get out of here.
Yeah. And yeah, that's. So then oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, since our house was evacuated, we were in a voluntary zone, and then it was mandatory. Later in the evening, it went back to voluntary. But for us, like, I spent from, like, 4 p.m. probably to 10 o'clock at the brewery. Just, like, the place was packed. Because I think any of the people who still wanted to have like a Mid-South experience, whether that was riding or just hanging out with people, I think that's kind of where everyone went. And it was also kind of the spot where like people were just told to go to. So yeah, I mean I was there even after Bobby announced the race was like going to happen. That was at like 7:30, and it was also a spot to like kind of hear rumors, I guess. Not rumors, but like it was the spot where people would go to like pass information on. So I knew journalists that like essentially I knew the first announcement was going to be the race was on like an hour before everybody else knew.
So they put that video out at 8 p.m. And again, I don't know everything, but this is how I speculated the whole thing, is that they recorded that video and things weren't as bad as I think everyone thought or like knew. And that's why they're like, oh yeah, we're still going to plan to host a race and unless things get really, really bad. And then obviously things just got kind of worse with the air quality. The smoke was just still very thick in the air. And then that's when like I feel like a lot of the riders that were there to race were like, all right, I'm not going to do this because of the air quality. And then that's when things just kind of like tumbling on Instagram and like all social media. Yeah.
As somebody that wasn't there, like, I mean, I was just watching all the lives and, again, hearing like getting texts and talk to a couple folks, but somebody that knows Bobby and I was like reading those comments from the 8 p.m. video to when he canceled the event video, and I was just like so taken aback by. I mean, this is our podcast, so I'm just going to say him getting shit on.
Mm-hmm. Dude, people are ruthless.
But like, Bobby's everybody that does the event knows Bobby and knows that like he has no like. At the end of the day, his interest is not financial; it's the people of that community. So for him to like make those decisions on the fly, like could not have been easy and had to have been heartbreaking. I'm sure you talked to him a lot about it, Chase, but just like sucks to see how fast people just flip like that and just like immediately.
Well, yeah, that's why I said I'm speculating, because I don't think even the crew at Midsouth knew how bad it was. And I could be wrong here, but you know, just from someone that was there, I didn't know. I just I was on a website, whatever, KCCO, trying to follow the fires, like, and that's the most up to date thing I had, like.
Yeah.
How I imagine is like, you know, that video came out at 8. I knew at 7 o'clock that it was supposed to happen. I'm assuming at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock is when these conversations were happening. So it's like, sure, like there was so much time for it to like escalate and get worse. And like, you know, at that moment when at 5:30 or whatever, I'm assuming in their meeting, if the police, if the fire department, if EMS of like any part of the course or county would have said, no, you can't put this on, I have like good faith in Bobby that he would be like, okay, I'm listening to you, we're not putting this on. So like, I'm assuming it wasn't just Bobby like, oh yeah, we're gonna go have this event still, like, you know, police department, like, you signed this contract. Like, no, it was like he definitely had these meetings, and like it wasn't him, like he's probably asking for guidance on like, hey,
absolutely,
should I hold the race? Can I hold the race? And they're, you know, they're probably like, well, yes, you can. Like, it's still bad, but like, yeah, just, and then people like throttled him, and those people don't apologize when you wake up Saturday morning and the air, like Bobby said, that the other people said the wind is gonna shift, the smoke's gonna blow away. We woke up Saturday and like sky was clear. You could still smell a little smoke, but like I wasn't coughing outside anymore. And like those people never posted a picture like, oh my gosh, Bobby was actually right, like the sky cleared. It's like, nope, we're just gonna leave our post up saying like the AQI is 200, you're dumb for putting our race on. It's like, no, you should edit that, and like because I mean, if the course was like, I don't want to say, like, if the course would have just been like out east where the fires weren't, like, I mean, there was 7 of us who went on like a super spirited gravel ride out east, no fires, clear, like, you know.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I rode out east on Saturday as well, and it was just, it's a very, very nice day. I mean, it's tough because like I think most of the route definitely was in fire territory, which would have made it very, I think,
you got to clear stuff.
It would have been very clear. Yeah, it would have been hard to clear, but also just like it would have been like I feel it would have been really bad to have basically 3,000 people go ride through. You know where a fire was. So
for sure.
Let's cut back because I don't know exactly when that second video was put out, but I remember I woke up at like midnight after.
It was like
to
right
sleep.
at midnight.
Okay, so I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I saw that the race was canceled. So instead of like being like, oh shit, I need to get up at 5 or 4:30 because I need to go get my packet because I didn't pick it up on Saturday because they had shut it down. It was like, oh, thank God. Okay, I can just sleep now. Not have to worry about getting up at 4:30.
I had a like roommate that I traveled with this whole trip, and like I woke up to use the bathroom at 2:30, and like, I checked Instagram because I'm like, who else is gonna make a post, or is Midsouth actually gonna get canceled? And first thing I see is it's canceled, and I'm like, yes. So I like turned my alarm off, and then I didn't want to like be rude and wake up my roommate, but I like kind of just was like not tickling him, but like giving him a soft touch to hopefully like he'd be like, but he never woke up. So I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get that alarm going at 5 a.m. So sure enough, the alarm goes off at 5 from his phone, and I'm just like, dang it. And he didn't wake up for like a minute. I'm like,
Oh, God.
I was hoping it'd be like on and then off, but yeah. And then, yeah, I woke up at like 8, looked outside. I mean, I was like blown away that the sky was clear.
Same. I was expecting, I woke up and I was like, dude, it's probably like really like still hazy. And I get up and I'm like, what the heck? It's completely clear. And I mean, someone that, like, I lived in China for, many, many years, and dealing with smog and hazy, I'd never seen air clear out that fast, ever.
Yeah, then I checked the AQI in Minnesota, and it was, I think all the smoke, like, blew up there, because Abigail's like, oh, it's, like, kind of not nice out right now, like, air quality, so.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's kind of the story on what happened on Friday and I guess Saturday. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that ended up going out and riding on Saturday, like Chase and I, which was nice. I think I ended up doing the same route as you, Chase, which was, it's part of the FKT.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my favorite part of the whole FKT, except for that 20-mile road that goes out east. But whatever. I guess let's go to, what would that have been, Saturday night when you announced. I guess chat about what because you told Nick and I that you were considering doing it. What kind of tipped the scale for you, or like, and then I guess explain what your decision was for it and how you wanted to help, basically.
Yeah. So I told you guys I wanted to go after it earlier last month, I think. And then, so that idea's been in my head for quite a while. And then I was trying to, like, throughout the week, I was messaging, like, expo people or media people that I knew would be at the event. And I'm like, hey, like, could you, like, want to stay around Sunday? And, like, I'm going to do this FKT. Just get some, like, so I'm having a kid in, like, 2.5 weeks. Or the due date's April 5th. So I was like, I need to no matter how the race goes, if I win or whatever, just do like one last crazy thing beforehand. So I kind of had that thought, and then Friday was happening, and then I'm like, okay, the event's probably going to, because in my head I thought the event was going to get canceled even at like 5 p.m. So I was asking like Jason from Gravel Worlds, I'm like, hey, like, I have this idea, and he's like, oh, what if we did it as like a fundraiser? And then we woke up, then Saturday rolls around. We went to bed thinking the race then was going to happen, so we didn't consider the FKT at all. So like Jason left, and I was still like on the fence, like, man, I could still do it, like just take my phone, do some videos, like, I could probably stop it a couple times to, like, get footage of, like, whatever, or take pictures of me. Still, I didn't have any, like, media planned. And then I wanted to do it. And then, like, the thing that honestly, like, I went from, like, 80 or 90% to 100% was seeing Ted King was going to do it. And I'm like, I'm just competitive, and like I was like peaking for Midsouth. My like season A race was Midsouth. So it's like, okay, let's use this fitness I have. Let's go raise some money. And like I messaged Ted King like, hey, I'm also going to do this. Want to have a competition to see who can raise more money. He never saw the message till he was actually doing the FKT. So Bobby told him Sunday morning I was doing it, but like he didn't respond to my message till he was actually writing. So I see that Ted is doing it. I told Tim Savory, I'm like, hey, like we need to go to the brewery. I need to find Bobby and tell him what I'm doing, and then we need to go make a post. And I thought the Chasse couch was still going to be at the brewery, and like it was set up when I like went to go find Bobby, but after I told Bobby the couch wasn't there, so I'm like, okay, let's go to the finish line. So then it's like pitch dark, and I'm like, I'm wearing like all black. So for a video, it like as a social media like post, I'm like, this is not gonna like look good. But I'm like, I need to put something out. So Tim records me, and I'm like, usually I'll like go back to my laptop, use a video editing like to put nice captions, but I'm like, screw this, we're gonna use Instagram's captions. I don't speak the most clearly, so there was probably miscaptioned words, and then I'm like, get it out there as soon as possible so I can't back out. And I do need to say, like, when I saw Ted's post, I also at the same time then called my wife, because like I really wanted to get back home and see Abigail too, because I didn't see her for 10 days, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
like I had every other pro left besides Ted, and I feel like not racing, going back home to like see your wife and get your house ready for a baby coming is like a pretty good excuse to not do anything. But then she's like super supportive, gives me the green light to do it, and then Tim and I went to Walmart. I bought a whole then we ate like super big pizza right after that. And then we went to Walmart. I bought a 2-liter thing of root beer, drank about half of that Saturday night, and then the whole sleeve of Mega stuffed Oreos.
Yeah.
And then I got 3.5 hours of sleep and woke up Sunday morning for the FKT. And I was like, this is not good. Like, I'm going to be super tired, but I think it helped deep into the ride. Like,
yeah, I remember seeing the video you posted. I was like, damn, this is coming out late.
Yeah.
But good shit, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so then you basically did a fundraiser along with Ted King. We'll link the fundraiser, or I guess your Venmo or other fundraisers
just
in
link
the YouTube. Okay.
I've already like accepted defeat that Ted King has raised more funds than me, because like I posted the Payne County, and I posted the Midsouth link, and I posted my Venmo. So maybe if I like gathered all the money that was like raised from my awareness, I beat him. But like he got more sent to his Venmo, which like I don't really care who raised more money. We like did a super cool thing and raised way
How
more.
much did you guys raise total? As far as the information that you guys have, how much did you collect total?
So I'm at $4,500 right now. Like this is including, I'm gonna donate $1,000, and then I have $3,500 in my Venmo. And then Ted King, last time I talked with him, it was like $5,000. So
Dude.
Another thing I'm going to do, and we can talk about the events in general in a little bit, but I'll mention it right now. If anyone registers for Granny's Gravel Grinder or the Day Across Minnesota the next 2 weeks, I'm going to donate $20 from each registration to the Payne County like wildfire fund. And like I should mention, my events aren't the most like expensive events, and usually I make $20 per registration, so it's like kind of it's just more fundraising money to go towards the fire, and hopefully catch
props.
Ted in the fundraising thing, because he has 10 times more Instagram followers, so it would be cool to pull off an upset and beat him in fundraising money.
Minneapolis, Minnesota, you hear that? Register
Unite.
for register for Granny's, register for Day Across Minnesota.
What link should we put in there for folks to donate to?
Oh, there's a United Way one. I can send you that link, or
Sweet.
Or I can send. It's hard because like I haven't talked with Bobby what they do with the Midsouth money, but I feel like the Midsouth funding can kind of be more directed, like how Bobby sees best. But I honestly don't know if that's just going to go straight to Payne County, the United Way stuff, or if it's going to be like if Bobby knows someone, or if like there's 10 GoFundMes, he just takes that and splits it 10 equal ways. And so sure. I think just the United Way Payne County fundraising one is like the best way to do it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I mean,
that's right. They're doing that.
Yep. Kind of the same, we didn't, obviously there was no fires or crazy catastrophic stuff happening, but, with our FKT, we did donate money to the Get Here grant, which just trying to get people down there and show how awesome Stillwater is and the community at Midsouth and how important it is to us as well. And just so that everybody else can experience it. It's definitely a bummer that the race got canceled, but as a racer and a person that knows Bobby in Midsouth and everyone works at Midsouth, I understand that it didn't need to happen. So, let's get into the FKT course since we've all done it. We can keep this brief.
Want me to give like a time and weather update?
I want to hear how it was at the beginning for you, and then from there I want to know how you felt about that Brethren climb.
Oh yeah, Brethren. They're like
only big climb of the day. It's really steep, and because me and Nick. It was fresh graded for us. So it was horrible.
Whoa. Oh wait, is this kind of early in the ride?
Yeah, very early.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Not freshly graded, not like a recent. The dude was doing it while I was climbing the damn climb.
Oh my gosh.
It was so good.
I mean, obviously you're from Minnesota, and you're used to the cold, but you were just down in Arizona before this, so
yeah.
And you spend a lot of time on the trainer.
The garage is like 50 degrees, but the start was probably 30 to 35 degrees, and I had leg warmers on at first, and I got there right as Ted was taking off, and I saw he wasn't wearing leg warmers, and I'm like, that's a bold move, but also at the same time, I felt a little warm, like every weather thing I checked was like mid to low 30s, but it felt a little warmer. And obviously we're in a city or like town, so maybe it's the like water pipes or whatever keeping us a little bit more warm. So I'm like, I'm gonna take my leg warmers off. If anyone knows me, I have like goofy arrow setups. For this one I had like knee-high arrow shoe cover things. I think I look like a rock star in those, like a 80s long hair rock star. So
or maybe a wrestler.
Or a wrestler.
Dude,
if anyone wants to hate on them, they're kind of destroyed now, so I probably won't wear them again. But I was like, okay, I think these should keep my legs kind of warm. I had a skin suit with arm warmers and then just a windbreaker, like long sleeve windbreaker. And I'm like, I hope this is enough, because I mean in my head I'm like, I could always go out pretty hard and try to stay warm, but I'm like, that is a good way to like dropping out of this race as well. So but then I was like, there was this local dude who like, because you start kind of through a park.
It's so random.
This guy.
Was it light out for you yet?
No, it was dark.
Dark. Okay, yeah, because we went through it dark too. I was like, man, I'm just following Bob because Bobby rode us out, which was awesome. And I was just like, I hope that I don't crash here because I don't know where I'm going, and my little light I had on was like. Anyways, continue on. Sorry.
So a group kind of started with us, but then there was one guy, Instagram handle is Gotta Love Gravel.
Oh yeah.
I keep forgetting his name.
Yeah.
Dude, the hardest part of my day was him just sending it through this park and me having to like follow him. He was like taking risks and turns, and I'm like, holy smokes, I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna like, the like coach inside me is like, I'm putting way over threshold right now, sprinting out of corners, like. But I think it helped warm me up, and like the 2 miles or whatever he led me out, like it just got me pumped, and I think it set the mood for the day, because I would have gone out at like, you know, I essentially just try to keep at 200 watts most of the day, so I would have just started at like 200 watts, and in my head I'm like, because he comes and he supports the day across Minnesota, I'm like, I wonder if he gave this exact same lead out to Ted, or if like he's like, go Chase, like fucking smash it.
Yeah,
I like to think it was the second one. So
it probably was.
Yeah, for sure.
When we met him in November, he talked a lot about Day Across Minnesota, so he's a big fan.
I gotta give him like a free reg spot, because that
he would love that.
That lead out was money.
Primo.
But then
Nice.
You head out east, you watch the sunrise.
So cool, wasn't it? Like when the sun came up, dude. I mean, obviously,
beautiful.
you know, we've all done Dam, and it's pretty impeccable after being out there for 4.5 hours, 5 hours. But even then, still, just starting 20 minutes before that, it was just like, all right, the day's about to start. Let's fucking go, you know.
Dude, especially, and it was like pretty, the sky was clear, right, for you?
Yeah, sky was
Dude.
clear. Like,
yeah, it was
so good.
No wind, and I'm just like, and it's like a long straight road kind of out east, and like
18 miles.
Yeah, it's like, that's the longest stretch of straight you do the whole course too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is crazy to think about, because there's a lot of straights, but I personally enjoy that. I hate going straight for that long, so.
Gotta move down to the drift list. We don't have any straight roads.
I know.
But then like, what's the hill you guys talked about?
It's like
Brethren.
Okay, so I do remember that. I mean, going through that town, I think it was like right before. That was kind of interesting. Yep. Just because I rode that 50-mile route the day before, I feel like a lot of the stuff was familiar already, which maybe was a good thing, but maybe it was
that section before Ripley. I think out of the entire FKT, what I can remember is like my favorite part.
Yeah,
that valley you ride through, and it's just like winding roads, and it's like oilers. It just like it was just so, and the sun was like, it was just very, very pretty, and that is like one of my favorite moments of that entire course, like the FKT.
For sure.
And then
that was a really good area.
Ride along the river, and there's like the graffiti on the under the bridge. It was just like, it's just really, really cool. But then you get into Ripley, and you take a left, and you go through like someone's like kind of like,
dude,
very local street, and you're like, where the hell is the gravel from here? And you take a left, and you go onto this gravel, and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm back on gravel.
Yeah, no, I was like, is the route correct? Like, I feel like I'm trespassing right now.
For real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then all that stuff to the climb was just really beautiful too. But yeah, Brethren.
If I'm being honest, I do remember it, because I kind of like, so my gear setup was a 58 tooth in the front, and then SRAM Red 13 speed 1046 in the rear. So like, I mean, it's early-ish in the ride, so obviously you can smash the hill if you want. But I was like, I need to like paperboy this. So I was like, it was good enough for me to kind of wind back and forth, and just made it up over that. I think I was listening to like a podcast at that time too, so it wasn't like any like if I would have later in the ride, I was like jamming out to some not heavy metal, but like punk rock, and I think if I would have had that at that time, I would have been like, like just smashing the hill. But it was like,
I'm jealous that you got to do it with like some fresh gravel on it, because when they were grading it as we were both riding up it, was like, man, this stinks.
It was so
I
soft.
I was in like my top, like the 52 tooth the entire climb, and then like after that,
Yeah.
it still goes up. But you're on the road, but it still goes up. But we had a headwind then, and it
Yeah.
really sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, the section after Kearney, I saw you posted a Instagram story about going past Kearney Express.
That gas station.
Yeah.
Did you pass that too, right, Josh?
Yeah, because Josh McCulloch, sorry Josh if I'm botching your last name, he got a video of me going across. He's like, oh, he's not stopping at Kearney Express.
Yeah, well, that's only like 40 miles in, isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah,
60
like
miles
60,
in.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
Sorry.
like,
So,
if you're stopping, if you're going for an FKT and you're stopping every 60 miles, that's, especially early on when it's, like, cold, so you're not, like, dude, I peed, I think, 10 times during this ride, because I was like, the last thing I need is for me to get dehydrated, even though it was, like, cold most of the day. I'm like, I would rather be overhydrated than dehydrated.
Yeah. Yeah, the section after Kearney, did you run into any construction at all?
No. Zero construction.
We had a lot of construction.
yeah.
We had like a couple of closed roads, but I still went through them. But
Yeah, they were like actively working on that flat next to the river. And then you come out and you do that, that gnarly, like really beefy MMR.
Yeah.
There was like actively like bobcats clearing mud and shit in front of me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, your guys' conditions sound like a proper what you would expect to experience in like a 300-mile ride. I mean,
yeah. Oh, that's why like when you told or like I heard that the conditions were perfect or you texted me that, I was like, damn, you're just so lucky because our conditions were still very, very good. Just
compared to what they did in September, dude.
Yeah.
The temperature wise and storm wise.
Yeah. But there was still like before we hit Guthrie, there was a 400, 500 foot just water bog that I had to walk around.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that like killed all my momentum getting to Guthrie. But that section before that was really fun too. I don't know. It was. You had awesome conditions, and it's sick that you were able to fucking smash the record. And I don't know.
Oh, that bridge that that I texted you about. Did you find it that I was talking about?
Yeah.
Was it wet after that?
No, it was dry.
Oh, dude, that's the part. I think Josh, you had missed that.
Oh.
I think it was like right after, but holy shit, that whole section
near
between the
Pawnee?
two fields. Yeah. That whole section was underwater
Whoa.
for like that. It's like a 2-mile stretch after the bridge where it's just a flat between two. Yeah. That two fields, that was all underwater.
Yeah.
So sick that it was dry.
And you had to do that during the night? So that was that.
The sun had just gone down.
Was this after I crashed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Because we rode together for like 15 miles and the sun had just gone down when you were like, all right, dude,
No, it was starting dark by the time I crashed, man. Yeah.
God.
Okay. That's why anyways.
Sorry. But
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah.
I didn't hit my head, so maybe I'm can't remember, but it was definitely dark.
For the record, I am not comparing all this to like, be like, oh, if you would have had shittier conditions, there's no fucking way I would have touched your time. So
Yeah. No,
I just I like comparing.
Saying that as well. It's awesome that you got like great conditions. Cause
Yeah, like I didn't think they could have gotten much better.
Yeah, I mean, I was pleased with ours, but
no, you like got like when I saw like because it's just a dirt mound, and then you're like, oh, there's a bridge actually that I'm going over right now. I was like, I think this is the one.
Oh,
So
that one. Yes.
I
know what you're talking about.
I dismounted right away. I'm like, I don't know what Nick mentioned. I don't even know if this is the right bridge. I'm just going to walk over it. And then, like, I got to the end, and I'm like, sure, if I would have pre-ridden this, I could probably do it. But I was like, I am not. Because there's like a...
Dude, it's so sketchy, man.
I told you we both almost lost our front
No,
wheels.
Yeah.
I rode it in the dark. I didn't know there was a huge gap in the bridge, and I just like rode across this little 2x4. I put my front tire on it, and then after Bobby's like, "Dude, that's like a 15-foot drop if you fall in." I was like, "Holy fuck! I'm so glad I made it."
I have a story that I can tell off the air about that bridge. That's yeah.
Can't wait to hear it.
Perfect.
But yeah, okay, now I remember that bridge. That was such a random part too. And
Yeah.
I think Bobby's like, "Yeah, I never put that in a race yet, but I hope we're gonna do it one year."
Dude,
That
that
would
section
be-
after that, if it was
Yeah.
like a rainy year,
Yeah.
hands down would be the
my
worst
God,
section
yeah,
of the race.
That was the worst part of the ride. Now that I remember it, it was very, very wet. That was right after Glencoe, or no, not Glen Morrison. It was right after Morrison.
Yes.
I don't
Oh yeah,
remember
no, you're
this.
right. So
Yeah, it was right
you did write all that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went over it in the daylight.
You don't say.
But
Yeah, cool. Well, any other like highlights you got from it before we get into your events?
no, I mean it was super cool. I don't know if this was before we were recording or after, but like getting text messages throughout the day. The only one that like I wish I wouldn't have seen was that there was a party waiting for me at the end, because there was probably 20, 25 or 30 people waiting at the finish line for me and Ted, and it was like, I mean, it's weird to think just on like a random Sunday evening or night, because it's midnight, we kind of just, we didn't shut the road down, but we all just stood in the middle of it, and like, you know, for people to come out and celebrate like what Ted and I did, and you know, like the biggest thing was raising funds. Like I thought that was really cool, and I mean I was not like, I have to give a shout out to Tilly. She's one who like followed us in a car and got photos. She essentially became like mom that evening, because Bobby was taking care of some other stuff that came up, and then like we were all just super tired and trying to figure out like who's gonna sleep where, and also like Bobby, like I mean he was like, they have showers in the bike shop, if you didn't know that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
And he's like helping me like just get all of my stuff off, which is like just the like act of helping someone like that can't do something like that, like something I could have probably done, but he's like trying to make my life easier. I thought that was really cool. And then he like gives me like a sweatshirt and some like socks right off of the shop floor, and like, you know, doesn't charge me or anything. It's just like, here, like, because I didn't have a change of clothes. He's like, and someone gave me their pants. I think they were like a spare pair of pants. I don't think he took them off, but they were way too big for me. So I had a shirt and then a sweatshirt, and I tucked both of those into these pants, and they were still like super loose. And then yeah, like, I mean the sweatshirt is now like my favorite sweatshirt I have. So
yeah.
Heck yeah.
And then yeah, the morning after, like my favorite photo, I know there's probably no video that will come out of this, but my favorite photo is there's like it's just it's like me and Bobby, like
Yes, dude.
no one can see Bobby's face, but it's like engraved in my head of like him and I just like handshake, bonding, stopped in his car, and like we were just looking at each other and smiling, and it's like, fuck yeah, we just did such a cool thing and like made lemonade out of lemons or whatever. Like that's like a photo and like that, and it's on I don't think it would be as cool if it was on or I'm happy it's on a Polaroid. So like, it doesn't have to be like on my phone. It's like, that's going to go like on my desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's so rad, dude.
Yeah, and I think that's something, at least from what I know from the Mega Midsouth route, is that this is what Bobby envisioned, was people just to come and fucking try to take the FKT or just be there to do it, because there's such beautiful parts of that course that you go through and you're just like, wow, this is so cool.
For sure.
So, yeah, that's awesome. It's a great memory for sure.
Oh, hey, I do have a question about your stops. How many stops did you make, and where were they?
I stopped at mile 96. Sorry, I need to go through my phone for this one. I stopped at mile 96, mile 168. So that one, 96 is like right before Guthrie at a Phillips 66. There I got a bottle of Gatorade and 2 or 3 Pop-Tart packets. And then I stopped at mile 168, which is in... I can't remember.
Is that Perry?
Perry. It's Perry.
Perry. Another Phillips 66. There I got 2 bottles of like Gatorade and then 3 packets of Pop-Tarts. Then it's another 80 miles to Pawnee, which was my last stop, mile 241. There I just got 1 bottle of lemonade. They didn't have Gatorade in their fountain drinks. And then I got first one I got also a packet of Oreos. Not the most important detail, but I was like, I will probably like Oreos this whole entire ride, and that was the last of them. And then 241, a liter of lemonade, and I think 2 things of Pop-Tarts, because, I don't know. Pop-Tarts are like super easy. They fit in your pocket. I had like a little top tube arrow thing from Profile Design, and like there's one picture where it's like the Pop-Tart mostly in the thing, but it's sticking out just a little bit. I'm like, I think that's probably saving me a watt, because it's but I thought
Did you do...
Is Pawnee where that Sonic was?
Yes, that's where Jared picked me up after I dropped out.
Sweet.
What did you do? Did you do any like on the bike nutrition other than like Oreos and gas station stuff, or was it?
So I started with 600 grams of Good Life carbs, just because I knew like my gut could handle that really well, and I wanted to try to bring that as far as I could. And I cannot, for the sake of me, drink everything out of my Camelback. So I started with 2 liters, and I still had like a third of a liter left. Like, I just washed my Camelback last night, and I'm like, dude, I probably didn't have to buy like lemonade. And the lemonade, like, I had like 10 miles of like, ooh, I'm not taking anything in for the next bit, because my gut turned to like not good for 10. But like the Pop-Tarts were like, I ran out of Pop-Tarts at that time, so taking in the solids was honestly pretty easy.
Yeah, I think that's something that at least I screwed up with, and I think Nick also discovered that we did too much of the drink mix. I think I struggled with it, but and I should have done more solid foods. I stopped and had a Subway sandwich, and that was probably the best thing that I put in my body all day.
Yeah, for me, like, I didn't, like, normally in a race, I'm like 120, 130, like, grams of carbs an hour. But this was like, since you're going at such a low pace, you're not burning as much glycogen, so you don't need to refuel with as many carbs. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna, like, normally if it was like on-bound or something, maybe not on-bound, I would start with like a 1 liter bottle with like 200. I'd probably have like 1,000 grams of carbs to start, but everything would have been more saturated and
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks for going through that shit. It's always interesting to hear I'm interested to hear what Ted did, and I'm sure I'll be able to hear a podcast about that. So,
Yeah, for sure.
let's end this with talking about your events that you got going on this year that you are hosting as a race director. I kind of wanted to tie it in with the whole Bobby, bringing people to the airport, clapping or high-fiving you and having that moment. As a race director, do you see yourself potentially going in following Bobby's shoes? And I've not done one of your events yet, but I'm planning to do a bunch of them this year, and I look forward to seeing some of Bobby shine through you. So
yeah. The love that Bobby gives to people, or just the hugs. Maybe it's not love to everybody, but he hugs everybody.
Yep.
Those are at least every year I've gotten one. They're very authentic hugs. Also Trenton, when he gives hugs, they just seem he really means it and connects and bonds with everybody. And I want to give out hugs. I feel I don't know if everyone who completes the dam, that's super awesome. I think it's one of the coolest things a person can do. And I haven't been oh, I'm for sure gonna give hugs. I think if it feels right, I'm gonna be a hugger. If not, it's still gonna be dude, or if it's a girl, hey, what you just accomplished was freaking amazing, and I hope you are a badass human. I want to be able to at least connect with people that way. And I'm I guess I'm still young, so it is weird for me to you some people I'm in my upper 20s now, so it's hard to be I feel it's easier to get a hug from Santa Claus, or at Granny's, my grandma or the grandmas that are coming out, those are authentic hugs. And I know it's easy to grandma will give out hugs at Granny's, and for me, I guess the hugs are a small thing. What I learned this weekend is just caring about the community and bringing people together is it's what makes Midsouth so cool. I'm a pro bike racer, so I only see usually a very small bit, and I think most pro racers even see a smaller bit. But I went out Thursday night and hung out with people. I went to the brewery, and it just hundreds of people connecting, and maybe it's just in their group of friends, but maybe they're making connections. And my events have already kind of been community focused as much as I can make them, and that's just hey, we're gonna make you or give you a meal after you're finished so you can hang out, sit at a table, and tell stories with your friends. And there's it's just free soda, but having people stay and hang out at the events is what brings community together. I'm thinking for the dam, I don't know if it will happen this year, but I'd like to start trying to do something Thursday evening before people come into town, whether that's just having a party at the Alibi, maybe getting spin bikes, or just on it. Sometimes there doesn't even need to be anything. Bobby just has music. It's people, they're you pay $180, but you're paying for a festival ticket for this whole weekend, and there's just a bike ride with it. So it's more than just a ride. Obviously, anyone, the food is how I've always tried to connect, but it's made me open my mind up more on how can I get this more community focused. And the group rides that happen at almost every big event, those are good. So I'm hoping to do one of those Friday. with the dam. For like grannies, it's hard because that's such a like it's at my grandma's house, and 80% of the people who come are from Minneapolis. It's just a day drive or like an hour drive for people to come up. But for like the day across Minnesota or the Filthy 50, I do see myself trying to make it more of a full weekend experience. And like I was just on the phone with Bobby. It's like we're talking about now doing like there's going to be a documentary or short film on the FKT thing. So like we're like, okay, let's show that Friday or Wednesday at Midsouth. So now like activations are happening already like 3 days or 2 days before the event. So it's like if I can at least get activations going to bring community together Friday, I think that's a huge thing. And just one thing I'm really bad at is, and it's like something that makes me nervous about being a race director, is I'm really bad with names. So like when I say gotta love gravel, it's like I don't remember his name. I know exactly what he looks like.
Yeah.
But like, and I've talked to him multiple times, but like I am like that's something I need to somehow work on, because like yes, like people who come to my events, like they are awesome, and I like want to love on all of them and hope that they can like find joy in gravel biking, whether they're racing or just like wanting to do their first 50 miler. And then it turns into like, oh yeah, every year we go up to Chase's grandma's house and we ride 50 miles. Or every year the one event we do is the day across Minnesota. Like I met someone Thursday night and he was like, yeah, the Midsouth is the only event I do because every other one is just like not like, I think he's the one who told me it's like a festival weekend. It's not just a bike ride with an expo. Like there's so much more to the weekend than just
I mean, after we talked with Bobby when we did our FKT attempt, I think both Nick and I realized, and even before that too, we're just like, more events that need to be like Mid-South and make you feel more inclusive with the event, get familiar with the city, kind of just, it's more of like a big festival, and it's a bigger weekend than just, hey, I mean, I also used to, go to just races as, racing pro and just like go there and then leave. Mm-hmm. And Mid-South, I don't do that. I just like, I go there to go hang out, get there to race and ride, and then I hang out the next day and then we leave. It's like more events need to feel like that. And obviously with, grannies, it's a little bit harder, but you do have other events where it will be a little bit easier for you to do that. So that's cool to hear.
For sure. Yeah, we didn't. Now is a good time to mention, by the way, that for everybody listening and watching, that Angry Catfish, who supports the Angry Guppy podcast, is also the title sponsor of Chase's events for the Day Across Minnesota and Granny's Gravel Grinder and Hotdish. When did that happen? Did that happen already?
No, that one I still need. That one, like my friend and I just figured out he's gonna be able to direct it, and I'll be like,
that's in June, right?
Assistant director. Yeah, it's in June. Yeah. Okay. So,
sorry, I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Thanks for that plug, Nick. I guess I can plug. I'll plug every event. Yeah. There's Granny's Gravel Grinder. So every event you can find registration at bikereg.com, and then just search the event name. So there's Granny's Gravel Grinder, which happens on May 3rd at my grandma's house in Princeton, Minnesota. We serve like tacos, I think will be this year. Also at these events, there's not really any like race podiums. Yes, we give out blankets to some people or plaques at the dam or tinfoil dishes at the Hotdish, but there's no like, sorry if you're like a Masters rider hoping to get a podium, but like we kind of just do overall prizes to keep these like very grassroots, simple, like affordable, because chip timing adds more cost to it. So we do have that at the Filthy 50. But so there's Granny's Gravel Grinder, the Hotdish, which is June. Oh boy, since I'm not the main director, I don't know it off the top of my head. June 14th in Winona, Minnesota. I do kind of want to leak. I am thinking of turning this into like a multi-day weekend in the future, just because there is a lot of beautiful gravel in the driftless, and you can head south or you can head west from Winona and ride gravel. So I've been thinking of doing just a multi-day. We have this farm venue. People could bring tents, or they could just get a hotel in town. That is
Sweet.
Hopefully.
Yeah, nice.
It's hard to do all of this because I'm also trying to race bikes, and I don't know what life will be like with a baby, but that's tentative plans for the future. And then I have the Day Across Minnesota, which is August 2nd. Sorry, August 2nd. Starts at midnight in Gary, South Dakota. You ride all the way across Minnesota, 95% on gravel roads, and you end in Hager City, Wisconsin, which is just right across the river from Red Wing. It's 242 miles. We do plan on having a food truck at the finish this year to have more people just stick around and build that community again. And like, there's a lot of stories to be told from everyone's day at the dam.
Absolutely.
And then there is the Filthy 50, which is new for me this year, but it's been going on. This will be its 11th year. That's hosted or held in Lanesboro, Minnesota. So another driftless event, but the hills aren't as bad. And that's October 11th, and registration will open on the summer solstice, which is June 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 21st. And
Nice.
That one tends to sell out pretty quickly. So set an alarm or a calendar reminder if you want to do that one. And all of these events, so they cost about 50 cents a mile, which is, I try to keep them affordable. So it's like $50 for Granny's, $60 for the Hotdish, I think $60 for the Filthy this year, and then $120 for the Day Across Minnesota. And yeah, I don't know. That's the plug for my events. And then we will be collaborating with Angry Catfish on group rides and like a Q&A and early packet pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So just again, trying to do some pre-events to bring the community together. I mean, most of these events, registration is mostly from Minnesota, so it is easier to have more of the participants come to these pre-activations.
Yep.
So they are all on Bike Reg?
Besides Filthy 50.
Okay, so it's Granny's Gravel Grinder.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The Hotdish.
Hotdish.
Day Across Minnesota.
Day Across Minnesota.
And
Those
then
three.
50 will be on June 21st
Yep.
on Bike Reg.
Cool.
Yeah. I also would like to add, we just came up with this week. There's going to be more details about it, but since Midsouth was canceled, we are going to be but we are going to be opening March 30th. We did the socially distanced Mid-South in 2021, and we have the routes still available for those. So Sunday, March 31st, time has still not been declared, but sometime between 9 and 10 o'clock, we'll do a group rollout for the 100 mile. The 50 mile is in a different area, so same thing. But yeah, more details will be posted probably tomorrow or later this week. We just kind of decided that we wanted to kind of give people that went to Minneapolis, that came down from Minneapolis to do Mid-South, a chance to do some sort of Mid-South. So we'll be posting that stuff later this week. Chase, congrats on the FKT.
Thank you.
Thanks for
You
chatting.
want to shout out your other sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh boy, I have a long list. I'll give some of them. So my main sponsor, I'm on Lunchbox Racing. That's not like a sponsor or anything. It's just like a fun team name Drew Dillman and I came up with. Our like most like biggest sponsor is Lauf. We ride on the Lauf Segla. They're direct to consumer, so I guess this is competing against Angry Catfish, but just a good, affordable, like carbon race bike. And then I have a few local Midwest companies supporting me. Bora Teamwear, they're like right out of the Driftless, 40 minutes away from me. They make great made in America, made in, Wisconsin clothes. Head, right out of Minneapolis. I ran my Head disc wheel, which some people love, some people hate with a passion. And then Bird Spokes is another supporting sponsor. Ran it on the front, helps kind of dampen the vibration over 300 miles. My recommended tire for the events is Continental, and they are my partner. I've been running them for years, so it's not me just saying this as a sponsored athlete, but if you want tires for any of the events I listed, I highly recommend going to Angry Catfish and buying either 40 millimeter or 45 millimeter Continental Terra Speeds. They're fast rolling and pretty good puncture resistance. And then I'm sponsored by Abus Helmets. That's a new one this year, but they've been really good to me. Tilly was hired by them this weekend, and it was actually then the one who took photos. So there was I met her for the first time on a photo shoot Thursday, and then Sunday we bonded over 300 miles. And then Silka, another brand that I highly recommend people get for, especially the dam, if you want to shred probably an hour. Nick's pointing. It's probably around $100 total, and it will reduce your time by an hour for the dam. Buy a pair of Silka Aero socks. They look kind of like normal socks, but they have little windbreakers essentially on the side of them. So your friends won't make fun of you for wearing goofy Aero socks. And then also buy their waxing system and just wax your chain. You can go to their website or go to Angry Catfish, and they can give you all the details on how to do that. And that will be you'll want to buy an endurance chip if you're doing the day across Minnesota, but that's another good thing to have.
We are going to be offering.
Oh, you muted yourself, Nick. You muted yourself.
Shoot, sorry. We are going to be offering a couple clinics this year on the entire wax system and how to do that in person at the shop this year. And we do stock from the stripper all the way to the X hot wax stuff. So
sweet. And then one of essentially this sponsor puts food on my table. That's Good Life Nutrition and Good Life Brands. They have nutrition product. You can go to feelyourgoodlife.com and use code CHASE20 to save 20%. It's if I'm being honest, yes, they use cluster dextrin, which is kind of a newer form of to get carbohydrates in. I've really enjoyed their mix, but everyone's personal. The product I think everyone should get is actually their electrolytes. They're the best tasting electrolytes ever, and it's 180 servings, and if you use my code, it's only $36. So it's 20 cents a serving compared to if you get Liquid IV or LMNT. Those are more $1 or $2 a serving. So that's kind of the one thing I really push is their electrolytes, just because if you're drinking them, yeah, it's super tasty. And then Look Pedals is another one. Human Powered Health has supported me this winter with like bike fits, and they'll be offering like sweat tests and everything for people doing the dam at like a discounted rate, and bike fitting.
Oh yeah,
that's sweet.
Shout out to my local massage therapist. She's actually a sponsor, which I think is like super cool. She's been my massage therapist for 6 years. So if you're ever in La Crosse for gravel nationals, look up Elysium, or Elysium massage. Emily has been like kind of not a therapist, but like she was the first person I think I told I was going on a date with my now wife. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and then yeah, that's. Oh, and then Wark's Cycling Services. If you're looking for a coach, actually, I don't have any coaching openings right now, just because I'm at 20 athletes and racing season is full. But that's like what I host my events under. That's my business. Hoping to grow it soon, and maybe like one of my goals for the next couple of years is supporting like a U23 gravel development team, since I think there's a lot of talent in the Midwest. And if you know, I already do support a few riders locally, just with Lauf gives me frames, and then I buy parts and build up the bikes for them, and I'll cover like travel costs sometimes or registration for them. So yeah, just if you're like registering for my events and you're thinking like, oh, why is this event so expensive? Like, yes, I do make some money from them, but it's enough to like pay the bills, and then I try to pass on as much as possible to like youth riders, because I grew up in a really small town and I didn't have the most support, but the people who did support me, it like meant the world to me. So I hope I can always just keep passing that on.
Yeah. Nice.
Sorry for like a 10-minute ramble on
It's all right.
sponsors.
You're good.
It's all good, man.
No, we appreciate it.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome. It's
Thank
fun.
you.
Fun to relive the FKT. Thanks for sitting in with us, Chase, and you know, I'm sure you've got a couple more podcasts to do, but thanks for spending time with us. We really
appreciate it, dude.
It's been fun because this one, like, I could kind of tell more of the like ride since you guys have done it, and each one is, I think, will be a little different. So,
well, that's why I was like,
yeah.
it'd be fun to have both of us on, or at least for Nick, since he had the record up until Sunday.
Where it was beat by 5.5 GD hours.
You guys didn't talk enough smack to each other, which sucks. Like, we're all too Minnesota nice here.
I would never do that. Also, I was thinking about this. Sorry, maybe we can end on this. Like, such a good note about like gravel and ultra cycling in general is like, I don't think anybody has attempted it since the actual event that hasn't been. Obviously, like we're just gonna go ride this ride, and we're gonna do this anyway. But like let's raise some money for good while we're doing it.
Yeah,
I think that says. I mean, not to like pat ourselves on the back, but like that does say a lot about athletes that are doing ultra cycling. Like, it's just great. It's so. I mean, when I saw that Ted was doing it, and I kind of had an inkling before you even announced that you were going to do it, that you were going to do it. But I was just like so stoked to see that you guys both were just going after the record, but also now hearing that you guys raised like $10,000 for Stillwater after the tragedy that happened there. Like, that's just so cool. It's just a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No shit talking from me.
I'm just kidding.
At all.
I'm just kidding.
He says that, but he was sending me mean texts the whole time. He's like, only 18 miles per hour, you slow AF, bro. No.
Yeah, what did you end up? What was your average?
I don't know what like with the stops was, but without the stops, it was 18.1.
Damn.
Fucked.
Also, Nick had an hour stop to fix a flat, so
Yeah, I mean, that was my own doing. I also rode, like, the last 35 miles was through 2 different thunderstorms.
Whoa, dude, yeah. Okay, this is at the end, so maybe not many people are listening, but I'm hoping, like, Payson goes for it and doesn't get it, because it'd be cool to, like, see. The conditions were perfect.
You had such good conditions.
I don't know who Payson would be. I could see Payson going for it if he wants to raise funds. That would be sick.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Dude, add him right now and be like, yo, it's yours now.
Or maybe Lachlan. I mean,
Dude,
I know.
that's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Lockie would go do it.
Lachlan was supposed to. I thought I heard that Lachlan was supposed to come to Mid-South, but that's what Bobby told us when we did our podcast with him. But it'd be cool to have Lachlan try to do it too. But
yeah,
I think actually Payson and Lachlan. They're really. Lachlan would just. He probably would have gotten 20 miles per hour average on the day.
Probably. All right.
But
well,
thanks, dude.
Yeah. Anybody that is listening still, Nick and I are very apologetic about the very long delay between episodes, but we are going to be starting these back up here and try to be more consistent with it. So
season 2.
Just felt right.
Season 2.
It is season 2. Felt right to just kind of start up where we left off. So
yeah.
Chase, thanks again. Good
thanks,
luck to
dude.
you and Abigail and the baby coming soon.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing pictures on that. So, Nick, we'll see you tomorrow at work. 07. All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Are they right there with you, or are you guys doing it remote?
We're doing it.
Well,
We can hear you,
they
dog.
Turned everything on, so I can't change where my where my sound's coming from.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
We're good.
Well, I hope you have the best podcast.
Thank you. I can't change my headphones.
Just you go finish it up. It's getting late. I need to get home and go to bed.
Okay.
Dude, love you so much, man.
I love you too, Bobby.
Bobby.
Congratulations on everything, man.
Thank you. I hope you can get some sleep. And I'm still, honestly considering naming my kid, well, Robert, but calling him Bobby.
Yeah.
Dude, that's epic.
Totally your call. And I would literally, it would make me deceased. I would be deceased.
It would be.
Dang.
I would be honored in a way that I don't know how. The only thing I could say is, that's cool.
That's cool.
And thank you.
Yeah.
It's called rock and roll. Look it up.
Okay.